Are you a fan of movies that feature elaborate creatures with distinctive superpowers and abilities? Or do you just love chaos and exhilarating action? If your answer is yes to either of these things, then today's video will be your favorite. Today we are going to explore 12 mutant creature movies that should be on your watch list if you're a fan of this genre. And no, we're not going to talk about the X-Men series, as this list only includes standalone movies that have elaborate creatures either based on a book or a video game. From an albino gorilla to a horrifying mega shark, there's a lot to cover. So, without further ado, let's just get into it, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Casey, The Bite, 2015. The Bite is the first movie on the list, and Casey can be a great start for many. This mutated creature is horrifying and has committed deadly deeds just for its personal gains. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's first take a look at the background of this mutated creature and how it came into being. Now, Casey is just another woman who happens to be in Costa Rica to celebrate her bachelorette. She gets so invested in the celebrations and her second thoughts about marriage that she fails to take notice of a mysterious insect that has bitten her. Everything seems normal in the beginning. However, things start to take a turn for the worse when her body starts to mutate gradually and she starts having nightmares. As she's going through her transformation, Casey starts laying eggs in her room, but is still confused. This, coupled with the troubles of marriage, leads to greater problems as Casey kills her would-be mother-in-law, and to hide the murder, she ends up killing her friend, Kirsten, as well. Now, our innocent bride is turning into a psychopathic killer with immeasurable strength and the ability to lay eggs just like insects. Casey goes on to plan her revenge against Jill, who is in love with her fiancé, Jared. She was forced into a sexual affair, and Jill had recorded the entire ordeal. Being a strong mutated monster, she decides to take revenge. She shows Jill the entire clip, kills her, and gets a fight with Jared, who manages to kill her but gets stung by her in the process. The movie ends with a random jogger who's bitten by the same insect and brushes it off. The movie met with massive criticism, as many thought it was boring and the acting was a bit parody-like. The concept was applauded, and The Bite is a decent watch for the fans of this genre. However, beware, because this movie can make you feel queasy. It's a horrific tale, and it's even been reported that 2 people fainted during its premiere. Sounds scary. If you have what it takes to survive The Bite, then watch it at your own peril. The Fly, from The Fly, 1986. Released in 1986, the movie had a rather interesting creature. The Fly is a sci-fi horror film where a super talented scientist transforms into a fly due to a small mishap. Seth Brundle made the miraculous discovery of teleportation by building telepods. These telepods didn't just transport the people, they also mutilated their live tissue. The misfortune occurs when Seth decides to teleport alone, but unknowingly, there's a fly that sneaks inside the pod. Initially, it seems the experiment was successful, but hey, appearances can be deceptive. Seth is now stronger, faster, and has an unusual sugar craving. He thinks that the pod has purified him, but actually, he fused with a fly on a genetic level. Slowly, we can see Seth, played by the iconic Jeff Goldblum, slowly transform into a fly. His nail starts falling off, and he becomes more aggressive. But the biggest advantage of this transformation is his strength. Seth basically has superhuman strength and can beat anyone he encounters. After a few days, our main character has transformed into a half-human, half-fly creature. He also has given this creature a name, Brundlefly. Brundlefly has started to vomit digestive enzymes into his food before eating it. This is a normal practice that a fly always does. This creature has completely taken over the psyche of Seth Brundle, and he's losing his human touch. In a matter of desperation, he tries to fuse himself with his lover, Ronnie, who tries to retaliate and breaks his jaw. Now, we can see Seth completely transform into a fly, which looks terrifying in the movie. He's very strong, but sadly, not stronger than a shotgun. Ronnie quickly picks up the shotgun and kills the pleading creature, putting an end to its misery. The Fly was an interesting movie and gave us a deep insight into the physiology of the insects that we see every day. Interestingly, flies are very strong for their size, and this movie does a great job at portraying it through the terrifying creature. A gorilla, wolf, and crocodile from Rampage, 2018. Everyone is familiar with the movie Rampage, starring our very own Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Viewers were perplexed when they saw these massive monsters in the movie, making a city their own battleground. However, the wait comes to an end as today we find out about the curious case of the gorilla, the wolf, and the crocodile. Not many were aware, but the movie Rampage is actually based on a legendary arcade game with the same name. The infamous creatures found in the movie have been around for a long time, but it took the star power of Dwayne Johnson to make them popular. The first creature, and technically the most lovable, is the albino gorilla named George. Now, George was a peaceful character who shared a great bond with Davies Okoye, Dwayne Johnson in the movie. However, things start to get chaotic when George gets exposed to a pathogen that mutates his body. But he isn't the only one exposed to this. A wolf named Ralph and a crocodile named Lizzie are also exposed to the same pathogen. This genetic experiment turns innocent animals into destructive monsters who know nothing but chaos. Let's take George for example. Before, he was an average gorilla who had a great life in the sanctuary. Post-mutation, he became a 30-foot beast with incredible strength and durability. He was able to destroy buildings in Chicago with a casual shove. In my opinion, Ralph gets the craziest transformation. This wolf just doesn't grow in size, but gets many new features too. Apart from being incredibly strong, he gets quills on his back that work as a projectile and also makes him bulletproof. This wild wolf was taking down tanks and helicopters with relative ease. Ralph also develops an ability to glide in the air, technically making him the gliding wolf. While George and Ralph were creating havoc in the city, we got to meet the terrifying Lizzie. She gets hit with the same pathogen, but she lives in the water and goes through the craziest transformation out of these three. She's the biggest and baddest of all the three creatures. Lizzie develops massive scales on her back, making her bulletproof and even blastproof. She's the ultimate monster in this monsterverse. However, Lizzie's dominance unknowingly unites George and Ralph as they battle it out with this monster. George also reconciles with his friend Davies Okoye, and together, they beat Lizzie, the crazy crocodile. In the end, Ralph loses his life fighting Lizzie, and George impales the crocodile in retaliation. George then gets treated for his absurd mutation and lives out the rest of his life peacefully with his friend Davies Okoye. The Licker, Resident Evil movie franchise. Everyone who has played the Resident Evil games will be familiar with the Licker. This terrifying monster is not easy to kill, and it's also pretty difficult to run away from it. The Licker is strong and fast, and his tongue can reach almost everywhere. This freak of nature was designed to favor the Umbrella Corporation and worked as a bio-monster that kept all their wrongdoing a secret. His anatomy is hard to explain, but, we'll still try. The Licker looks human-like, but has no skin. This grotesque monster has a very long tongue that can impale and seriously injure humans. It can also scale walls and ceilings while being extremely fast at it. This creature has everything enhanced but has lost its eyes in the mutation. However, this has heightened all of its other senses that can help it efficiently track prey, which are humans, So, how do you defeat this monster? Well, there are several ways. Guns are the most effective, but they're loud and can attract even more lickers. An underrated way to kill them is to sneak up on them and blow their heads open with a hammer or, any other object. However, the best way to deal with a licker is to not encounter it at all. Try your best to stay away from this creature, as it has the ability to seriously injure you. If not, kill you. Actually, it decapitates you. Mutant Bear, Annihilation, 2018. When the movie Annihilation came out, everyone was talking about this terrifying monster. Now, this movie is filled with grotesque creatures and weird phenomena. However, the mutant bear easily comes out on top. Apart from looking super scary, this creature has many quirks that make him a nightmare-inducing machine. Before we talk about its abilities and powers, let's take a look at its background. This mutated creature comes from an area called the Shimmer. The Shimmer is a supernatural zone where everything gets mutated and grotesque. At first glance, this mutated bear looks pretty normal, but when we get a bit closer, we can see the reality. The body is much more muscular and bigger compared to other bears. Its fur is somewhat exposed, as we can see rotten flesh hanging out of the body, truly making this monster terrifying. The same can be said about its face. The skull is partially exposed, giving it a creepy humanoid experience. But one thing that makes this bear so terrifying is its vocal cords. It can mimic the screams and voices of humans while luring them into his trap. The entire bear sequence in the movie is extremely traumatizing and has the ability to induce goosebumps. Thankfully, bullets can harm this creature, and it met its fate in a spectacular fashion after decimating so many people. Beaver. Beavers 2014. Ever wondered what would happen to the animals during a zombie apocalypse? Well, your questions are answered because the next creature on our list is a beaver who just happens to be a terrifying zombie. This movie is a gory affair with absurd sequences and extreme chaos. What starts off as a horror movie turns into a quest for survival while battling beavers. Now, humans battling beavers sounds extremely absurd, but wait till you find out about the beaver's appearance and qualities. After a toxin is released in the beaver's dam, they get transformed into an army of undead. Now, beavers are naturally fast, but the mutation makes them even faster and more resilient. Traditional headshots can't kill this zombie, and it keeps coming back. What's even worse is that their bite can infect humans, making them a creepy human-beaver hybrid. Just imagine beaver fur on a human. Quite creepy for my taste. This movie is a bloody affair and makes us understand that even a small animal like a beaver can cause us harm when infected with the infamous zombie virus. So, next time beware when facing a beaver in your backyard. Splice 2009. Want to get traumatized for life? Give this movie a shot. Every terrifying science fiction movie has one thing in common. Don't mess with the genetic component of life. It can have devastating circumstances. Well, Clive Nickley, Adrian Brody, and Elsa Kust, Sarah Polley, didn't get the memo, as they created a humanoid mutant creature with DNA from several other animals. This movie goes from 0 to 100 in an instant. Dren, the humanoid creature, starts off as an amphibian with tails and 4 limbs. Now, it's fairly innocent from the start, and our protagonists bond really well with her. However, this secret project turns deadly when Dren gets old and its instincts kick in. It starts to develop wings and almost has an alien-like appearance. It shows no remorse for life and starts to kill indiscriminately. Dren doesn't stop there. It goes one step further and even sexually assaults its own creator, showcasing that this creature has no remorse. In the end, the scientists face a moral dilemma and are forced to put an end to this terrifying and creepy monster. But it wasn't easy because the abilities list of Dren is completely packed. It had a poisonous stinger on its tail, it developed wings, and also had the ability to breathe underwater. Basically, it was the perfect weapon with extremely high resilience and superhuman strength. So it's safe to assume that putting this creature down was a deadly and grotesque affair. What really stood out for me was the end of the movie, and you have to watch it to completely understand the moral dilemma that people sometimes have to go through. Sharktopus. Most of the mutated creatures were once created to aid humans and fight their wars for them, but it's not easy to control a creature that far exceeds her strength and intelligence. Sharktopus is yet another movie where a similar incident takes place. You create a monster that later becomes your downfall. A fictional company named Blue Water genetically designs a creepy creature that is a mix of shark and an octopus. They give it the codename S11. Try to control it with a chip, and leave it in the ocean. Now, what could go wrong, right? Everything, actually. The creature escapes captivity and starts to wreak havoc on the coast of Mexico. Killing is super easy for Sharktopus due to its incredible abilities. It possesses the features of an octopus, it can safely breathe on land, and the tentacles also work as claws. Imagine Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man, but with the face of a shark. Now, this creature looks terrifying. It has the face of a shark and tentacles like the octopus. It's huge while being extremely fast underwater. Catching this mutated monster turns out to be a task for the US Navy due to several reasons. Firstly, tracking the Sharktopus is not easy due to its incredible speed and stealth ability. However, if you manage to track it down, then it can easily end you with its claws-like tentacle or extreme strength and jaw similar to that of a great white shark. Humans were forced to get crafty to kill this creature, as it was killing people without any remorse. Subsequently, they find a way to hack into the Sharktopus' chip and overload it, killing the creature in the process. The movie proves to be an exhilarating affair, and all Jaws fans should give this a watch. Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus, 2009. Before, we saw a hybrid mutation between a shark and an octopus. Now, we will see them fight in an epic battle. If you're a fan of Godzilla vs. Kong, then this movie will surely be your favorite. Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus features two terrifying creatures, but the real villain of this movie has to be global warming, because without it, we would have never been introduced to these creatures. Starting with the Mega Shark, it's a prehistoric creature that was trapped in the ice. The ice has now melted due to global warming. The creature is looming large while destroying everything in its path. The giant octopus also has a similar origin story. It was also awakened due to global warming. Both of these creatures use their strength to outmaneuver each other. The Mega Shark uses its speed and strength to deal damage, while the octopus uses its intelligence. Mega Shark can leap out of the water to crush aircraft and ships, while Octopus can release poisonous gas and can also hide itself through camouflage. Both the creatures were equal in terms of their abilities, and they met their ends in the same way. After the Mega Shark destroys the octopus's tentacles, it strangles the shark as they both start to drown in the depths of the ocean. The universe has its own unique way to balance everything indeed. Levelantula, 2015. There's something about creepy crawlers that is extremely terrifying and difficult to watch. If you can stand insects, then this movie is definitely not for you, because in Levelantula, you can see a spider breathing fire, just like a dragon. But how did a spider gain the ability to breathe fire? Well, let me tell you. Misfortune happens when the city of Los Angeles is overrun by multiple volcanoes. The lava from these volcanoes mutated the dormant tarantula eggs, resulting in a creature called Levelantula. Apart from breathing fire, these creatures are massive in size, way bigger than humans. They can also do everything that a normal spider can do, basically climbing walls, webbing people, and delivering justice. Wait, sorry, the last one is Spider-Man. Anyway, Levelantula start to breathe fire and destroy every civilian they encounter. Defeating them becomes very difficult until they learn about a secret. Spiders usually possess telepathic abilities like the hive mind. They were all connected to their queen, which was massive in size. So, the government decided to deliver sweet justice by dropping a liquid nitrogen bomb on Queen Levelantula, which later destroyed its entire army. This movie is an exhilarating action-adventure combining elements of comedy and horror. Although it didn't receive quite a good critical rating, it serves as a decent action movie. Mutants, from Mutant, 2009. Mutants are glaring evidence that creepy creatures aren't just originated in America, but the entire world. This French movie showcases a viral outbreak where everyone is turning into deadly mutants who are killing without remorse or feelings. We follow the story of Sonia and Marco, who try to travel to safety while facing creepy mutants. Now, the appearance of these mutants is human-like, bearing some aspects. They have distorted physical features and a somewhat primal appearance compared to other humans. These mutants are also extremely aggressive towards uninfected people and have the ultimate goal of infecting everyone in their sight. They're also very successful in their campaign due to their strengths and ability. These mutants have heightened senses and possess superhuman strength enough to kill a human with relative ease. However, the strongest weapon in their arsenal is their bite, which can turn humans into mutants. So try your best to stay away from that. If you face them, then one can try to run, but not far, as they have also superhuman speed and can catch you in an instant. So beware of the zombies. The mutants. The Killer Tomatoes. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. The tomatoes have had enough, and now they will stop at nothing. Decades of enslaving them in ketchup bottles have proven disastrous for the human race, and now they want revenge. The Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is the most refreshing movie on this list, and actually it surprised us with its elaborate characters and parodic nature. It's essentially a parody where tomatoes have taken over the world and want to kill every human they encounter. These tomatoes aren't just normal ones, but bigger in size. They also have learned the ability to roll and bounce to attack their victims. If this doesn't work, then these tomatoes will use their jaws to bite through their victims. However, their most potent ability is that they can now unite and attack in groups. Just imagine you're walking down the road and see a gang of tomatoes rolling towards you. The years of ketchup abuse won't be forgiven now. This parody movie achieved cult status due to its weird style and direction. One reviewer said that it's so bad that it's so good, and I couldn't agree more. Marvelous verdict. After covering several mutated creatures in this video, we can come to the conclusion that humans are often responsible for some of the creepiest and most deadly monsters created. From the vengeful tomatoes to the terrifying Beavers, everything is out to kill humans. These movies showcase the impeccable creativity and, how cinema can often create devastating monsters that one can only think of. Comment down below with your favorite monster, and do let us know if we missed your favorite creepy creature. Also, check out our videos on various other creatures and supernatural movies. Until then, stay marvelous, and beware of anything that seems unusual. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks everyone!